Hello and welcome to a brand new season of Speedway as we push off the 2005 season here on Pirate Videos. Can the boys make it 3 in a row? Keep watching. Yes, welcome back to Wimborne Road then, as the Pirates prepare to defend their League and Cup titles. The activity began with the usual press and practice day when the team got its first airing out on the track. All of the new squad were there, which this year includes no less than 5 of last year's title-winning side. Bjarne PEDERSEN returns for a third term with the club after signing a new 2-year contract with Matt and Mike. Antonio Lindback shelved his plans to concentrate on Europe, and he also returns to the side, as does Matej FERJAN, who joined halfway through the 2004 campaign. Another rider who joined later last year was Krzysztof KASPRZAK. He takes his place in the new squad from the start this time round, as does Sullivan, who was drafted in to replace Tony Rickardson last term and who has quickly won over the hearts and minds of the Poole faithful. Well, the occasion wasn't just a chance for the riders to blow out their winter cobwebs out there on the track. It also gave Matt and Mike the chance to parade the team in front of the gathered press, sponsors and season ticket holders. We took the opportunity to catch up with a couple of the new faces of 2005 and asked them what their plans were for the new season.
Basically, to prove me average, score some points, because I like the pace here, and just keep injury free, just do well for Poole.
It's a great fillip for Poole to have signed a young Englishman on the rise, as I'm sure you are. How surprised were you that the call came and that Poole were able to secure your services?
I couldn't believe it, because where I ride down the road at Eastbourne, I wanted a year off there, and when Matt rang me up, I said, yes, straight away, because the promotion's good down here, like Neil and all the fans, good support here, and I was delighted.
Yeah, absolutely. There was only one place I wanted to be this season. I have a big ambition, and it's going to be an interesting year for me. And to be at Poole is top of the tree for me, yeah.
Other promoters were rumoured to have been after your services, but you really chose to ride at Poole. This was your first choice.
Yeah, it was. There was other routes that I could have taken. I didn't want to burn any bridges too soon, so Poole was, like I say, where I wanted to be, and the day Matt rang me up to say I'm in, I was over the moon.
Yeah, very much so. I enjoyed myself when I was down here back in '93. It's a long time ago, and I had a very good following down here. So I'm hoping from good results on the track, I can get them sort of support back and drive me on further.
The reserve berths are going to be crucial for the Pirates this year, and obviously a couple of new riders coming in, youngsters in a way. With your experience, I'm sure you're going to have a lot to be able to contribute to the reserve team.
Yeah, very much so. It's a 7-man team when you're out on the track, and every man's got. You can't just win meetings for the #1 riding well. So it's so important that I do well, and Ricky and whoever's riding alongside me on that day. And yeah, there's a lot of pressure, but I think we're all up for it. We've got a nice sort of atmosphere going already. We've only really all just met this morning, and I think it's going to grow bond really, and I think that's when you win meetings.
Well, I'm sure the fans will be watching closely to see how the new boys develop alongside the returning Pirates. But there'll be no less pressure on those returning squad to develop another powerful display this year. It's Ryan Sullivan that steps up to captain the side in 2005, and he knows it's going to be an important season.
Yeah, it's going to be much easier on me. Last year, you know, I was very unsettled. I had to shift back from Sweden and changing clubs, and you know, everything was so unsettled, and I had a lot of problems with my equipment, and you know, it was a bit of a disaster throughout the year last year. I managed to get it right in the end, and I showed some sort of form, and I'm hoping to carry that on to the start of this year. You know, we've done a lot of work over the winter, and it's nice to start off and know where I'm coming and what I'm going to be doing.
It's good to think that there is scope for some improvement. You did still have a very good year last year, but of course this year, crucially, the Pirates have kept 5 of that team together, and that's going to be so brilliant, and you being captain, it's going to be brilliant for you.
Yeah, you know, that was a real feather in my cap when they asked me to be captain, and you know, I'm looking forward to the challenge, although the boys all know what they've got to do, and you know, everyone gets on so well, it's not going to be a problem with the team. You know, everyone's going to back everyone, and everyone's there for everyone. We all know each other. We've all ridden last year together, so it's just a matter of welcoming the new boys in and getting the best out of everyone.
And it is exciting to have these new British riders, maybe not for you as an Aussie, but for us, very exciting to have these new English riders on the scene.
Yeah, it is. You know, there's the new boys have got a lot of talent there, and you know, I'm sure we're going to see some great races out of them.
So as you join us for the first home league match of the season, what sort of a start have the Pirates made? Well, the answer to that, not a very good one. 2 heavy away defeats at Arena Essex and at Swindon did not bode well. Neither did a slender win here a week ago against the Robins. So, what seems to be the problem?
I don't think it's people are saying, oh, what's the problem, but I don't think there is a problem really. I think that you know, we got beaten at Arena by a far better team, and it's early days yet to say one swallow doesn't make a summer. And you know, I thought some good things came out of Arena. I thought Krzysztof KASPRZAK rode very well, Bjarne, you know, Antonio had a bad night, Ryan blew another engine. You know, I say I don't like to make excuses, they're just facts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still early on the season, so you know, just take it easy, and hopefully everything is rolling like normal today.
This was the first meeting, you know, and everything can happen in the first meeting. And that was not our best meeting, but you know, the first meeting is always a hard meeting, so I think we come to make it better today, I think.
Well, we'll certainly be hoping that Antonio's right and that things will come good today. So what prospects are there for improvement?
Well, as I say, I think I'm going to have a chat with the boys in a minute and just say that you know, we've got to put these meetings behind us now. I mean, there's no point in dwelling on what might have been. You just got to look forward. So I've just got to say, you know, we are the league champions. Everybody expects us to win, and when we lose, it's such a shock. And I don't think that, although I wouldn't say I was shocked, I was disappointed somewhat. But I don't see a problem. We'll be back.
Now, I see Ricky's in the side. He actually had an injury about a week ago. Is he fully fit now?
Yeah, I think so. I just spoke to him. He said he was a bit sore, but he'll be 100%. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here.
Yeah, that's right. It was a bit of a scare. I woke up on the way to the hospital in the back of an ambulance, but I had like 4 days off, and I had a meeting at Sheffield last night and had no problems, so I'm feeling up for it today.
Good. Now tonight, of course, or this afternoon, first opportunity to really show the Poole crowd what you can do. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I am. It's been frustrating the first couple of weeks of the season with the first meeting being rained off and dates clashing and stuff like that, and I'm really up for making my debut today. I want to go out there and win.
I think we all want to see that too. Good luck.
Cheers, mate.
Well, let's hope then that Ricky's mood reflects on the rest of the Pirates and that they can get back into winning ways and show us what they're really capable of in 2005. Well, for now, we're going to cross back over to Rob and Graham over there on the tower on the first bend and catch up with our first match of 2005.
So the Pirates taking maximum points from heat number 1. Promising start, 5-1 their lead then as we line up with the reserves in race number 2. And the new faces in the Pirates lineup this season, they are the only 2 changes. We've got Ray Morton and Ricky Ashworth in red and blue respectively. For the Eagles, it's Adam Allot on gate 2 and Davey WATT on gate 4. Davey WATT, of course, former Pirate. Highs from the start there. He's confirming some early season encouraging form already and shows his home track knowledge here from last season, where he lined up the Pirates for the first part of the season before moving on, and he immediately flies out into the lead from Ray Morton then in 2nd place and Ricky Ashworth 3rd, holding the 3rd place ahead of his Sheffield rival, young Adam Allot, who of course this season making a start in the Elite League with the Eagles. So looks like it's going to be a share of the spoils in race number 2 with a lap to go. Davey WATT way out in front, and after a bit of an up-and-down season last year, it looks as if he's got his act together right at the start here, and he could be the sting in the tail for the Eagles. Mixing my metaphors there, but nevertheless, Davey WATT takes the checkered flag in race 2. Ray Morton comfortably 2nd. Ricky Ashworth slowing a bit as the race progressed there. He's just coming back from an early season knock at Newcastle when riding for Sheffield, so 3rd place for him. Share of the spoils, 8 points to 4, the Pirates in the lead. Well, let's see what Heat 3 can produce. Dean Barker back in his familiar Eastbourne colours after a season at Arena Essex. He lined up on grid 1 in green. His partner, Adam Shields, maximum at home recently. He's on grid 3, and for the Pirates, Antonio Lindback in grid 2, Matej FERJAN on 4 in the red, and not a very good start for Adam Shields, but a brilliant start for the Pirates because Antonio Lindback straight out of the tapes and into the lead in blue with his partner, Matej FERJAN, in 2nd place. You can see Antonio indicating Matej like him to come up the inside. Matej maybe prefer to choose his own line and stay further out in the dirt where he likes to be, but fortunately he's got the luxury of not being under pressure because Dean Barker trailing back in 3rd place at the moment, not mounting a serious challenge to the Pirates in this one. Adam Shields still trying to fathom out what went wrong with his leg at the start of the race, and clearly the Pirates all set for another 5-1 this time. Antonio Lindback, after a very uncomfortable meeting at Arena Essex in that rather horrendous reverse a few nights ago, making up for it in fine style here in race 3 as more maximum points for the Pirates. They're out to restore their reputation, which wasn't seriously jeopardised by that one away defeat, but nevertheless they'll be anxious to build up the confidence and the points for the return leg. 5-1 there makes the progressive scores 13 to the Pirates and 5 to the Eagles. So we're on to heat number 4, and then the Eagles could quite possibly pull a few points back this time. They're tracking Davey WATT and Nicki PEDERSEN on 1 and 3, Poole with Ricky Ashworth and Ryan Sullivan on 2 and 4, and Nicki PEDERSEN gets a flying start there. Ryan Sullivan having to follow in his wheel tracks around the first bend, but Ryan does get past Davey WATT quite comfortably, but it does leave the Pirates looking down the possibility of a 4-2 reversal with Nicki PEDERSEN out in front, Ryan Sullivan in 2nd place, Davey WATT in 3rd place ahead of Ricky Ashworth, and that's the way at the halfway stage of the race. Nicki PEDERSEN, he also had maximum points in the Eagles' most home fixture, and well, he's looking in superb form. Ryan Sullivan has had a bit of an inauspicious start by his own very high standards. Of course, it's very early days yet, still getting his equipment up together, but he's some way behind Nicki PEDERSEN, but some way in front of Davey WATT, as the rider's getting well spaced out after heat 4. and the visitors take their first heat win of the day. It's a 4-2 heat win. It moves the scoreline along to the Pirates, 15 points, and the Eagles 9. So with a 6-point margin between the teams, to the advantage of the ReAST Pirates, we've got Matej FERJAN lining up in the red helmet on grid 1 this time. Not really Matty's favourite gate, but nevertheless he'll be putting his efforts in, as will Antonio Lindback on 3 for the visitors, Andrew Moore on 2, and Dave Norris in the green helmet, rolling into the tapes on grid 4 there. And I don't know what the referee is going to think about that, because the tapes now go up, and there's a bit of a broken strand. Unsatisfactory start. They'll all be back for a restart. So it's the restart of Heat 5, and in fact the guilty party in the first attempt to stage the race was judged by the referee to be Antonio Lindback, which all means that there's a general reshuffle of starting positions. It means that Andrew Moore goes from grid 2 to grid 1, Matej FERJAN goes from grid 1 to grid 2, David Norris then in the green helmet from grid 3, and the rider in the distance back on the handicap for that tape defence is Antonio Lindback. And that's a good start there by Matej FERJAN, and a better one by Dave Norris on the first bend of Heat 5, and Dave Norris off into the lead with doesn't look as if Matty's going to be able to cash in. Antonio Lindback meanwhile does come through quickly to catch the Eastbourne rider Andrew Moore, but I don't know whether the Pirates can do any more than look at a share of the spoils this time, after maybe with the original grid positions something a little bit more advantageous. But nevertheless, the track conditions today tending to space the riders out. Dave Norris comfortably in the lead from Matej FERJAN. Antonio Lindback tucked in third, Andrew Moore trailing fourth, and they're coming around to take the checkered flag. And it's going to be a share of the spoils, with the Pirates maintaining a 6-point advantage. And Floppy gets his first heat win of the day after a disappointing race 1. And it's now 18 points to the Pirates and 12 to the Eagles. On to race 6 then, and an intriguing race in prospect here. Nicki PEDERSEN, so invincible in his previous race, lines up against Pirates' 5-1 pairing of Bjarne PEDERSEN and Krzysztof KASPRZAK. So Nicki PEDERSEN goes in the green helmet. He's on the inside grid 1. Alongside him on grid 2 is Krzysztof KASPRZAK. The rider in yellow is the Eastbourne number 6, Adam Allot, and completing the lineup on grid 4 is Bjarne PEDERSEN. So Nicki PEDERSEN capitalise on that inside, or will the Pirates be looking to scorch round the first round here? And in fact, Bjarne PEDERSEN switches from grid 4 superbly, and that's a great back straight there by Nicki PEDERSEN, because he had Bjarne coming up the inside, and he had a chance from Krzysztof KASPRZAK around the outside. But Nicki PEDERSEN, the former world champion from 2 seasons ago, looking in invincible form here, and he's scorching out in front, and I don't think in these conditions that the two Pirates can do very much about that. So having to settle and sit in for the line of places, Adam Allot trailing some way behind, and it's going to be another share of the spoils unless something unforeseen happens. They're coming round with a lap to go. Nicki PEDERSEN looking comfortable out in front, and of course the Pirates anxious to try and get a minimum of 10-point advantage for the return tonight, because obviously they'll be looking to try and bank a bonus point, but unable to extend their lead that time. Nicki PEDERSEN takes the checkered flag from Bjarne PEDERSEN second, Krzysztof KASPRZAK was third, and Adam Allot finishing the rear of the field. 21 points to the Pirates and 15 to the Eagles. So the track's had a bit of water and a bit of grading now. Let's see what happens in Heat 7 then, whether that's to the advantage of the riders. Ryan Sullivan coming out for Gate 1 in red helmet. Partner Ray Morton on 3. Dean Barker on grid 2 and Adam Shields on 4. Away they go. Ryan Sullivan looks to good start this time, and he's out in the lead, but being challenged closely by the two Eagles there, but Ryan Sullivan out in front, Adam Shields on the outside, Dean Barker holding the inside, and Ray Morton training at the back. Ryan Sullivan then out in front, had a couple of indifferent matches away from home at Swindon and Arena Essex. He's not pulling a massive lead out on the two Eagles, but nevertheless it's a confidence building ride at this stage. That's what it's all about. Ryan Sullivan then from Adam Shields in yellow and Dean Barker in green, with Ray Morton in blue at the back. Another share of the spoils, looking in prospect here with a race to go, which would make the Pirates still 6 points in front, but be looking to see where they can build on that a little further before the return later today at Arlington. There goes Ryan Sullivan then, from Dean Barker, Adam Shields and Ray Morton. 24 points to the Pirates, 18 to the Eagles.
18 to the Eagles, and here we go.
Well, Heat 8 could be a crucial one for the Pirates. This time they're tracking Ricky Ashworth on grid 1 and Krzysztof KASPRZAK on grid 3. Krzysztof in the red helmet. Now, this pairing can get any sort of an advantage in this one. It would do the Pirates no end of good. And they face Davey Watt, who could make his presence felt from grid 2. He's in the yellow helmet. And Andrew Moore, who's yet to score a single point from his first two outings, he'll be lining up from grid 3. So one disadvantage for the Pirates is if they get too far in front, then the old tactical change comes in. But this time Ricky Ashworth gets a flyer from grid 1 there, and Davey Watt takes a tumble on the first bend, and I think it looked a little bit as if he was subject to something of a sandwich there, because Ricky Ashworth got a good start and came out a little bit on Davey, and Davey a bit shaken, getting some attention right in front of our commentary position here, and maybe have a look at the bike. Obviously a short pause, and I'm sure that'll be regarded as first bend bunching, and they'll be back with all four. Well, it's good to see Davey Watt back up on his feet, walking somewhat gingerly back to pits there. I think left leg maybe, or left arm, or maybe both. Certainly quite a heavy limp, and he's just explaining there as he walks back exactly how the accident happened. But looks certainly as if Ricky Ashworth had a very good start from grid 1, and Davey left with nowhere to go. But he knows where to go now. He's going back to the pits to prepare himself for the restart. Okay, so the riders sorted themselves out. Davey Watt has been given a little bit of time there by the referee to sort himself and his bike out after that tumble. And we're back on the line for the restart of Heat 8. Pirates are 24 to 18 in the lead. And Ricky Ashworth is on grid 1, Davey Watt, Krzysztof KASPRZAK and Andrew Moore. And away they go again, and this time gets an absolute fire. Ricky Ashworth gets a good gate and is alongside him, and in green of course we've got Davey Watt and Andrew Moore in green, and Davey Watt in yellow trailing the Eagles at the back. And Ricky Ashworth here, if he can hold on to this second place, will make himself a firm favourite here, because it will give the Pirates another 5-1 after a string of shared races. Davey Watt might have been considered to man a more serious threat, but he's trailing at the back, probably feeling the effects of that tumble. And although Ricky Ashworth is not exactly blazing a trail around the track, he's nice and steady, sitting on the inside line, and with a lap to go now, he looks to be holding second place, although now Davey Watt is through the third place, got too much ground to make up. And it's Krzysztof KASPRZAK comfortably in front around the final turn, taking the checkered flag. Ricky Ashworth, thanks to that superb bit of gating prowess there from grid 1, takes second place, and the Pirates have a 5-1 lead by 29 points to 19. Heat 9, and the Pirates' reward for stretching their advantage to 10 points is that Nicki PEDERSEN comes out in this race as a tactical, and of course any points he scores will be doubled. So it's Antonio Lindback. He could rescue the Pirates this time and prevent Nicki PEDERSEN from getting a full 6 points. But Antonio Lindback in blue helmet goes from grid 1, Nicki PEDERSEN from grid 2. Matej FERJAN on grid 3 and Adam Allot grid 4. Away they go, and what will Nicki PEDERSEN do this time? He gets drifted on the first bend by Antonio Lindback and comes bouncing straight back and challenging the young pirate. Matej FERJAN hanging around there in traffic, but sitting in the third place. Antonio Lindback out in front of Nicki PEDERSEN. Will Nicki PEDERSEN give Eastbourne maximum advantage from this tactical move? I think not, the way Antonio Lindback is riding in very, very determined form and right out on the fastest part of the circuit out in the dirt. Nicki PEDERSEN about 10 yards back from the young pirate, with Matej FERJAN sitting back in third place. A lap to go. This would be a 4-4 draw, and it would thwart the attempts of John Cook and the Eastbourne management of catching up anything from this tactical move. And Antonio Lindback roars around to take the checkered flag, gets the biggest cheer so far of the day here at Wimborne Road, lowers the colours of former world champion Nicki PEDERSEN for the first time today, shares the heat. Pirates on to 33 and the Eastbourne Eagles on to 23. Great race there in heat number 9. We're on to heat 10 now, and the Pirates still maintaining then that 10-point advantage, 33 points to 23 after that scintillating heat 9, and maybe they can extend that advantage this time, because we've got their top pairing of the day and their form riders in Bjarne PEDERSEN and Krzysztof KASPRZAK, and doing battle with the middle order pairing for Eastbourne Eagles, Dean Barker and Adam Shields. It's Krzysztof KASPRZAK on grid 1, Adam Shields on 2, Bjarne PEDERSEN on 3 and Dean Barker on grid 4. And what can the Pirates do this time? Pretty smartly from the tape, Krzysztof KASPRZAK and Bjarne PEDERSEN there together, and they're pulling out all the stops this time in the very dusty bank holiday conditions here, storming out in front, and Bjarne PEDERSEN taking the outside line in the red helmet, goes around his young team mate there, Krzysztof KASPRZAK. They're all trying to stay as far out into the dirt as they can. Adam Shields in third place trailing, and Dean Barker's had enough, and whether that's machine trouble or problems with visibility in the dusty conditions, pulled out of the race when trailing badly, and the Pirates fully capitalising on what looked a promising race for them. It looked on paper, what happens on paper doesn't always get converted into points on the track, but it is this time. Bjarne PEDERSEN there and Krzysztof KASPRZAK, they opened the match today with a 5-1, and they're going to close the first half with another 5-1 as we come up towards the interval, when the Pirates take maximum points to lead the Eagles by 38 points to 24. That's more like it. That's a lead that says we've got plenty to look forward to in the return at Arlington. Bonus point now looking a distinct possibility, and who knows, a couple more league points for a home and away victory would be just the medicine that the Pirates are looking for.
I'm sure you can have a nice round of applause in the home straight as I introduce you to Bjarne PEDERSEN and Krzysztof KASPRZAK.
Well, Eastbourne certainly ringing the changes to try and reduce that 14-point deficit. This time Dave Norris comes out with the black and white for a tactical ride, and his partner will be the reserve Davey WATT for Poole. Ryan Sullivan and Ray Morton. Ryan Sullivan gets a superb gate there from grid 2, and he's straight out into the lead from Dave Norris. So once again this would thwart the Eagles' intentions if he can hold on to this advantage, but Ryan Sullivan has got Dave Norris breathing right down his neck. Davey WATT has got Ray Morton on his tail, so two races for the price of one here. The interval activity on the track seen some watering, but doesn't appear to have affected Ryan Sullivan, who's showing his best form of the season so far. This would be his second win of the match out of 3 rides if he's holding on to this advantage for one more lap. Although of course the Eagles would capitalise with 4 points and one from Davey WATT with a 5-3 heat win this time, but Ryan Sullivan, the all-important race win for the Pirates. taking the checkered flag there. The Eastbourne Eagles do narrow the gap by just 2 points, and it's a 5-3 to the Eagles, 41 points progressively to the Pirates, 29 to the Eagles. Eastbourne once again making a reserve switch in heat number 12 with Davey Watt. Busy, 2 on the trot, 2 replacement rides on the trot. This time he comes in to take the place of Adam Allot, who's had his quota of 3 rides, scored no points. So Davey Watt pairs up with Dean Barker, who goes from grid 3. For the Pirates, Matej FERJAN in the red helmet goes from grid 2, and Ricky Ashworth in blue on the wide outside. What can the 2 Pirates do this time against the Eagles? The Pirates then holding that all-important 12-point advantage at this stage. They can't let any of that slip this time. And away they go. And that's a good start from Matej FERJAN from grid 2. Ricky Ashworth tries to find a way in the first bend there, but Dean Barker going right around the... Oh, dearie me, that's a terrible accident there to Matej FERJAN. And his bike goes catapulting over the fence. Matej FERJAN is laying on the track, but dearie me, the red light comes on immediately there to indicate an exclusion to Matej FERJAN, but I think he tried to take some riding action to hold off the challenge by Dean Barker, but that was truly an awful looking crash, and let's hope that Matej FERJAN is not too badly injured. Receiving first aid attention. We'll wait and see what happens. Well, it's good to see Matej FERJAN back on his feet and walking back into the pits there, seemingly shaken, but otherwise not seriously injured. The same can't be said for his bike, because it looks as if it's in a right state, because I mean that just completely looped the fence, and of course Matej will be excluded from that one. There'll be 3 riders only, and the Pirates could see their hard-fought 12 points being dwindled this time. We'll have to wait and see. So it's heat 12, the restart, and the Eagles certainly looking for a 5-1 this time to reduce their 12-point arrears down to 8. But what can Ricky Ashworth do about it? He, of course, has got grid 4. He's in the blue helmet, and it's Davey Watt and Dean Barker. Big gap between them, of course. The space previously occupied by Matej FERJAN. And 3 riders only. What can young Ricky do this time? Away they go. Dean Barker gets another really good one. Good 3 there. Ashworth trying to go around the outside of Davey Watt there, but once again the dust really flying up, and the Eagles now are holding a 5-1 advantage, and I'm not sure that Ricky is really going to be able to do too much about this. He's riding in the slick, the 2 Eagles are out in the dirt, and the dust really flying around this bank holiday bumper crowd here at Wimborne Road, but the riders getting more and more spaced out. Margin was 3 races to go, down to 8 points, and the Pirates once again will be looking to see if they can build on that a little bit more in the closing races. Of course, we've got Messrs Norris and Pedersen who want to do something about that. Just a question of top-end performance as to what sort of a lead the Pirates can take with them along the coast to Arlington for this evening's return fixture. But for this one, it's maximum points for the visitors, somewhat fortuitously, I have to say, and it's a win for Dean Barker, 2nd for Davey Watt, and 3rd Ricky Ashworth. 42 points to 34, the scoreline. So on to the all-important Heat 13, the big guns, 1s and 2s of each side. Bjarne PEDERSEN in red and Ryan Sullivan in blue go from 1 and 3 respectively. For the Eagles, it's Dave Norris in green and Nicki PEDERSEN in yellow on grids 2 and 4 respectively. So 8 points the advantage. The match is finely poised. Pirates will certainly be looking to do no worse than share the spoils this time, but the Eagles will be looking to maximise their advantage. So it could go either way. The first bend crucially important, looking at the conditions today, just seeing how dusty and difficult it is here. And So the dash for the first spin, vitally important as away they go, and that's a good start from Ryan Sullivan, and Bjarne PEDERSEN, and whoa, they all get a little bit tangled up there, and Dave Norris comes through as Ryan Sullivan and Nicki PEDERSEN hits some dirt there at the back, and Ryan Sullivan gains the advantage more quickly, but Nicki PEDERSEN trying and looking medicine there as he's all over Ryan Sullivan. Ryan in third place, but Nicki PEDERSEN roars around the outside of him. Unfortunately for the Pirates, it's Bjarne PEDERSEN out in the lead, although he hits an almighty rut there coming out of turn 4 and nearly loses control, but Bjarne PEDERSEN in front with Dave Norris in second place, looking around, seeing his pass, maybe thinking that safety first here, and with half a lap to go, it's a share of the spoils. Bjarne PEDERSEN from Dave Norris. Tricky conditions. Good ride from Nicki PEDERSEN to come through and share the spoils, and disappointingly, after 8 points from his first 3 rides, Ryan Sullivan trailing off in last place there. But the track conditions really not that special here. They've got a very slick inside and a lot of grip and dirt laying on the outside. So riders back into the pits. The scoreline 45 to the Pirates, 39 to the Eagles. So 45 points to 37, the scoreline, and Antonio Lindback in the red helmet goes from grid 4 with a reserve change. Ricky Ashworth coming in to take the place of Ray Morton. He's in blue on grid 2. For the Eagles, it's Adam Shields on 1 and Davey WATT on grid 3. See if the Pirates can at least have a share of the spoils this time, and what can Ricky Ashworth do? Great outside pass by Antonio Lindback, and a good first bend by Ricky Ashworth there. He's right in amongst the traffic with the Eastbourne boys, but holding on there, battling for second place. Adam Shields, Davey WATT at the back, and really this is final third place at the moment for Ricky Ashworth, but Davey WATT goes out into the dirt. It's the longer way round, but it's the faster route, and Ricky Ashworth relegated to the back. No doubt about the race leader, because way out in front got Antonio Lindback, but the Eastbourne Eagles, as expected, are taking a share of the spoil. So this is going to mean, with a lap to go, that the Eagles will maintain an 8-point advantage, and it's going to all be down to the final nominated race to see whether the Pirates can take the sort of lead to Eastbourne that's going to give them some chance of anything from tonight's match at Arlington in the way of a bonus point. So fine win for Antonio Lindback. Scoreline then, a race to go, 48 to the Pirates, 40 to the Eagles. The all-important Heat 15 then. The Pirates 8 points to good. They can't afford to really let any more points slip if they want to look at a bonus point this evening. And this is the way line up, with Eastbourne having had the advantage of 1 and 3. Nicki PEDERSEN lines up in the green helmet from grid 1. On 2, Antonio Lindback in red for the Pirates. On 3, David Norris for the Eagles. And on 4, in the blue helmet, it's Bjarne PEDERSEN for the Pirates. So top 2 from each side on today's form. And all-important Heat 15 nominated riders race, with the Pirates 8 points up. Final race of the day here at Wimborne Road. Up go the tapes, and away they go. Nicki PEDERSEN gets a really good start there. Antonio Lindback has to look at the dirt coming out. Bjarne PEDERSEN moving up the inside, and Nicki PEDERSEN around the outside. David Norris there in the yellow helmet, trying to go around the outside of Bjarne PEDERSEN, but failing. Nicki PEDERSEN, Bjarne PEDERSEN, David Norris, and Antonio Lindback trailing at the back. The Eagles looking to take a 4-2 here, would give a 6-point advantage to the Pirates to take to Eastbourne this evening. Antonio Lindback making no impression on this very, very dry and dusty and very difficult track conditions here. What a good first lap that was by Nicki PEDERSEN to come through and take the lead, and that's the thing that's done it for the Eagles. They've taken a heat win here in the final race with half a lap to go. They're going to narrow the gap to just 6 points as Bjarne PEDERSEN splits the two Eastbourne riders to hold on to second place for the Pirates, but they'll be relatively disappointed after having a 12-point advantage at one stage, in fact a 14-point advantage after race 10. So with the tactical changes and the way the heats panned out in the closing stages, the Eastbourne Eagles narrow the gap to finish on 44 points. The Pirates, though, take their first 2 Elite League points of the season with 50. 50-44 then the scoreline, and the Pirates points on the board in defence of their Elite League Championship title. So there go the riders back to the pits in what we conclude to be a satisfactory afternoon's work here at Wimborne Road. Probably the Pirates still suffering a little bit from weakness at the tail end, but Eastbourne Eagles, with their top end getting tactical rides, were able to capitalise at the end of the match, and the scoreline then 6-point advantage to the Pirates.
Well, things are being packed up now here and being made ready to make the journey down to Arlington for the return fixture, a quick return. And as Graham says, 6 points may not be enough, but I have to say that it's great to see that the Pirates at least are beginning to show their mettle, with some improvements certainly from Ryan Sullivan. Bjarne PEDERSEN looks as though he's well on the pace. Antonio Lindback, very enthusiastic, and a top performance from him this afternoon. So let's hope that the Pirates can really carry the enthusiasm and their winning ways down to Arlington with them for the return leg. Certainly today's match perhaps overshadowed by some of the most terrible and difficult track conditions that we've seen here at Wimborne Road, but then it's a daytime meeting, and in bright sunshine, who can really legislate for track conditions? Well, it was the same for both sides. In the end, the Poole team ran out as the winners, but as we see, we'll have to wait and see until this evening to see whether those 6 points will carry them through for the bonus as well. But for now, from Wimborne Road, a good afternoon to you, and we'll see you back here very soon.